I'm Ariana Grande.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Erivo.
And you're listening to the Broadway Podcast Network.
Visit vpn.fm to discover more.
There's a cat over here. There's a cat over there. And the wrong one died. And the wrong one died.
Welcome to The Wrong Cat Died, the podcast breakdown of the catastrophe. I'm your host, Mike Abrams, and today we have another amazing guest. She was Rumpleteazer for many years on the West End production of Cats, and also helped with Rumpleteazer vocals in the movie, so I'm excited to chat with her today. So welcome, Vikki Coote, and thank you for joining me.
And thank you so much for having me and allowing me to recap some memories from like 30 years ago.
I'm excited. You actually just kind of teased a main topic I want to talk about, so I'm going to actually just tease that now and hold it. But okay. Because I want to start with your Cats history, because you did the show in 94, I think, is when you first went on. What? So this is predating the 1998 movie that was like a lot of people know that, from the newer cast I've talked to. But it's been around for also over 10 years at this point. So what was your Cats introduction before being in the show?
Before being in the show, honestly, I continuously played the CD in my bedroom. I knew that Bonnie Langford had played Rumpleteazer because I went to a stage school in London called Italia Conti, and Bonnie went to the same school as me. And when I hearing the recording, I was like, that's my part. I want that part so much. But actually, when I was cast in the show, I had never seen it.
Never seen it. Okay.
I had never seen it because remember, there was no YouTube or you either went to see it or you didn't see it. Yeah. So I had never, ever seen it.
Okay, so what does the audition process look like from that? Because you know the music from the CD you said you're listening to, or from the album, but you haven't seen the dance, you haven't seen the numbers, and then also the numbers were different back then. The Mungojerrie and Rumpleteazer shifted.
Absolutely. So the audition process for me went like this. At the time, just before I auditioned, I was in Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat at the Palladium, and I shared a dressing room with the lovely Beth Robson, who, as the show was closing, was being asked to go back into Cats because in London you could only do 2 years and you had to leave. It was like a rule. And so she was going back in and she said to me, Vikki, they're looking for a Rumpleteazer and I think you'd be really great. And I was like, okay, I'll audition. I've never seen the show, but I've listened to it loads. I'll audition. She was like, I'll teach you the audition routine. So actually I had a head up on the routine before I went.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2 years, I did not know that rule because I knew there's that rule for the cruise lines. You can only do a year at a time because it's a cruise ship. I didn't know that you could only do 2 years on the London version, like the West End. You can only do 2 at a time and then they make you leave and then come back.
Yeah, I know it was different on Broadway, but it was 2 years and you could come back, but you had to leave. And I don't know 100% what the reason was, but the rumor was that because of injuries and
it's a physically demanding show.
You just needed to take time out after.
Yeah. Years. They definitely didn't have that on Broadway because there was a couple people that went for a very long time on Broadway.
Right. And well, hey, there was one guy who was the exception to the rule. Did you know that in London there was
No.
You need to know this.
No, I need to know this, yeah.
So in London, when the show opened in 1981, there was a guy called Steve Wayne, and he was dance captain on the show. And he is the only person who did the entire run, I believe. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure he did the entire run. And they actually kind of made a part for him. They called him George. I don't know if that part exists. It does exist, right? Okay. They called him George, and basically he knew so many other parts. He was so useful to the show because he could jump in and out during the show of any choreography that needed to be covered or done in an emergency or anything. And he was there the whole time.
It's like a super swing at that point.
He was the London legend of Cats the Musical.
Oh, man. I have to, George has been renamed a couple times in other productions, but it's always an ensemble dance number character that they have in there every once in a while. And but yeah, it's that's like an incredible swing to an extreme story of being able to do it for every single track or almost every track.
Yeah, George the Rumpus Cat. Do you know
It depends on the production. Sometimes it's I've seen George be named I believe the Bus Gus track every once in a while, and then I think there's times it's just George. It's kind of all over the place, but I have seen George in a playbill.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Oh, so there you go.
Okay, so you auditioned. You had a ringer in your, teaching you the audition before. So you went in and ready to go. Yeah. And then you get this role, and this is 1994. It's been on for a little while at this point.
Yeah.
And you're coming in, but what I'm so excited to hear about is that you were doing what I always called the British version of Mungojerrie Rumpleteazer, which I didn't know much about until the 2019 movie, which did that version.
Yeah.
And then I knew I guess I'll call it the Broadway, or the version that most places are doing now. But you were there during the switch.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I went into the show, and I obviously had been listening to the CD in my bedroom, the version that I learned was Mungojerrie and Rumpleteazer, we're a notorious couple of cats. That's the version I went in doing. When we changed to the Broadway version, Mungojerrie and Rumpleteazer, the one that you hear today, the London show, the show was still on every night. So we had rehearsals, I believe, for 2 weeks, because it wasn't just Mungo Rumple that changed. I believe we changed some bits in Peaks and Pollicles, and I think there was some other tap bits. There were a few little changes. There was a change to the cockroaches tap and stuff. There were a few changes that came from Broadway and that then went into the London show. But the biggest change was our number. I'm not super musical, but I remember at the time somebody saying it's going from a 4/4 time to a 9/8 time or something that, so that was confusing in itself. And then the choreography changed and was tweaked, obviously, by Gilly herself. So at the time, my Mungojerrie was Ian Meeson. So we were on at night doing the London old version, and in the daytime working with Gilly to work out the new Broadway version. And in fact, it wasn't a blueprint of the Broadway version because Gilly kind of altered it a little bit for Ian and I. And also there were moments where she was like, Vikki, you seem a little out of breath, so I'm going to switch that line and give that line to Mungo. And there were also other times where she was like, this bit of choreo doesn't make sense, so I'm going to take that line from Mungo and give that to Rumple. So in the nighttime, not only were we singing different, a different timing, we were singing different lyrics. The lyrics were different in both same lyrics, but different parts, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then different choreography. And it literally got so... The whole reason is that they did a gala, royal kind of gala version for its 14th anniversary on, I believe, like the 11th of May in like 1995, in front of Princess Margaret. And the show the night before the show changed and we did the royal gala performance, Gilly took me and Ian off of the show in London and said, put the understudies on because we need to work so hard all day today and all day tomorrow. And I feel like Vikki and Ian are just so confused with the changes. And so, so we were taken off the show for a night.
Yeah, I can't even fathom, like, it's because it's different, but it's not that much different. And it's like, how was it so difficult to do the show at night, having spent all day doing a different variation, but so similar? So
during Buster Jones, every night, Ian and I would have to go over the choreo, who sang what, and the different tune of the London version, so that before, literally during Buster Jones, so that we could not forget what we were doing and not sing each other's lines or whatever kind of thing. So it was really difficult. Gilly was amazing, and it was so fantastic to get to work with her and kind of like slightly recreate it and change it for London again. It was when I look back, it was an amazing experience.
I can't even my mind barely works to be able to do one version of that. And I've always been fascinated by swings where like a Bomb and Demeter, and they'll go on opposite nights and do the reverse, but doing the same song with different like variations and different timing and different choreography. I can't imagine practicing all day to do one and then going out to do the other one.
Okay, well, here's another thing. Speaking of reverse, and this was nothing to do with Gilly changing the choreography, but at one point, I suffered with a bit of a shoulder injury from the cartwheel trick. Because as you go, obviously, one way with the cartwheel trick, as the girl goes over, you're kind of pulling with one shoulder, you're pulling the guy over. And I suffered with a bit of an injury. So Chrissy Cartwright suggested that we do the cartwheel trick the other way because the injury just wasn't having time to heal. And Chrissy said at the time, and I don't know if this has happened in any of the production or around the world, but at the time she said, Vikki and whoever my Mungo was at the time, you are the first Mungo Rumple to go the other way.
Yeah. Wow.
So instead of going like from kind of stage left to stage right, we went from stage right to stage left, I believe. I don't know.
Wow.
I did both ways. So yeah, I'm a reverse cartwheel gal.
It's also, this is where live theater is so interesting too, because you think about all the like thought and nuance that goes into where everyone is and all this stuff. And then you hear stories like this where it's also like, well, yeah, your shoulders hurt. So we're just going to have you go the other way because that's the only way to make this work. And so there's like some element of that, which is where some of these, like, I don't know if anybody's ever done it the other way, but now if they do, maybe it's because you all did it that way first.
I don't know. But when I injured my shoulder, it was during the show and I did have to come off midway through the show. And our company manager said, I need to take you straight now to A&E, like in Waterloo. There was a hospital. And so he said, right, get out of your costume and your wig and we need to go like immediately. There's a taxi at stage door. So I came out of my costume and out of my wig, but I didn't take my makeup off. But of course you don't realize. So I'm sat in the waiting room at A&E and I turn to him and I say, why are people staring at me like weirdly? And he's like, because you've actually still got your face of
full cats.
I was like, oh.
Wow. Yeah. It's that is the cats, like the part of cats, you hear a lot of like the 2 show days, you don't take everything off because it's just like not worth it. And so, but you going to a hospital essentially to be seen and you were definitely a sight for that group of people. They're all going to remember that for the rest of their lives, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
The other thing that I wanted to hear a little bit about is I know that I saw you posted on Instagram. You did a Vogue photo shoot during that run, and it had, Andrew Weber and everybody in it. So tell me about that experience.
I mean, when I joined Cats, I was 19, and 19. I had my 21st birthday at Cats, which actually is another story.
Okay, we'll come back to that.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. But, when I look back now, oh my gosh, I was in Vogue. So it was on the set at the New London with all the creatives. I feel like it must have been around the time when we did the show for Princess Margaret that I've talked about, where we changed bits. I feel like it was around that time because all the creatives were in, Trevor Nunn, Gillian Lynn, Andrew Lloyd Webber. And so there I am, sat at Cameron McIntosh's feet in Vogue, just on the set, which was incredible. The set at the New London, that it revolved and stuff. It was pretty cool. And there I am in Vogue. Really
just
cool.
In full Rumpleteazer.
Just like you do, and I remember when they were picking, I remember sort of hearing a little rumor backstage, or that, there's a photo shoot and it's Vogue, and I was thinking, oh, it won't be me. And then they picked me, and I was like, oh my God, it's me! Oh my God! And and I've kept that picture. I still have the original copy of the magazine at home in my office.
That is amazing.
You know what? I'm going to put it on Instagram because it's a really cool picture.
Yeah, what a cool experience too. I mean, you're in the thick of things. So I'm sure there's a lot of experiences happening at that time. Yeah. But to have that, I mean, that's like a lifelong memory for sure.
Yeah. And then I turned 21 and my birthday is New Year's Eve. And I think we did an early show. I feel like, it was like a 5-6 o'clock show, an earlier show. And they always used to do Auld Lang Syne, the song at the end of the show on New Year's Eve at Cats. I don't know if
I've never heard that. Yeah,
but they did at London. So they said to the audience, join us in singing Auld Lang Syne, and it was our tugger that kind of sort of introduced it and stuff. And then after we sang it, he was like, and somebody special's turning 21 today, and he got the whole audience to sing happy birthday to me.
Wow.
My 21st birthday on the stage. So again, it was like a great moment. But when I look back now, I'm like, wow, how many people can say that a whole audience sang a happy birthday to them on their 21st birthday?
Yeah, not many.
Not many.
For sure. What other memorable moments do you have? What are you never going to forget? Those are 2 incredible things that you'll never forget from that run in particular.
Okay, I'll never forget Mungojerrie's wig coming off.
It just fully came off?
Fully. I don't know what happened. I feel like he backflipped. He was one of our Mungos. He was really great acro, and he backflipped. Clearly the wig hadn't been pinned or something, and up it went into the upper circle, and he had to chase up there and grab it.
Wow. So it went flying.
That was funny. I never forget finishing the ball and, da 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 da, and I was kind of right at the very edge because the seats, the edge of the stage and the seats were basically, there was maybe a few inches, between. And looking there, after dancing for, I don't know, how long is the Jellicle Ball?
It's like
maybe
13 minutes or so.
13 minutes.
Right? Yeah.
And the guy's asleep.
Oh.
Like literally, like I'm up opposite, and he's asleep. So obviously, in my true Rumpleteazer character, I just gave him a little buff, on the
wake him up,
kind of on the wake up, dude. Like, and I think I took one of his Maltesers as well that were kind of starting to fall off the map. I'm like, hey, I've just, done this incredible choreography for 13 minutes. You cannot be asleep.
In the front row after, I mean, one of the peak moments of the musical too.
Yeah, one of my favorite. This is so strange, but one of my favorite moments of the show was standing in the wings for Flashing Eyes, waiting and hearing the overture. There was something just wonderful about that overture. Well, for me, the overture is in any show is one of the most exciting pieces of music. And just standing there, I was always on. In the wing with Mistopheles, me and Thomas Payton, we were in the wings, and we were one of the last to go out with our Flashing Eyes. So I feel like that was so back in London in the original cast, that would have been Bonnie Langford and Wayne Sleep waiting together to go out. And that was always, we always had fun in the wings waiting to go out. And that was good memories for me.
Did you have any interesting interactions during the Green Eyes, Flashing Eyes part? Because I've heard some stories of scaring children and people not, did you ever run into any of that?
I always took it as a great opportunity as Rumple to take anybody's sweets. So wine gums, Maltesers, whatever anyone had, I was like, I am taking those, having a few sweets. No, not really from Flashing Eyes, I don't think. No.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy show, and I'm sure you've heard lots of crazy stories, but being on stage surrounded by people who obviously extremely well, but obviously in makeup, and for cats, that people do look different, and obviously, and mid-show, turning to your right and thinking to yourself, I don't think that Demeter is the Demeter I started this show with. And then it's kind of in the eyes, like, wait, that's not Dawn, that's, Beth or whoever. And literally, because on any other show I ever did, I've never had so many changes mid-show as you do, of characters, which the audience sometimes probably would possibly not really pick up on,
Probably not. That's
probably not. Really.
Yeah.
No.
I think it's there's so much going on stage during Cats at almost all times, except for your song. And so that's kind of where I've always felt the why people can go see it so many times is because every time I've seen it again, I pick up something new from one of any X character or Y character that I just maybe wasn't focused on the first time because there's just too much going on. That's why when I left the theater the first time seeing the show, the song that was stuck in my head most was Mungojerrie and Rumpleteazer. And it was because it was, one, it's a catchy song, but it was because it was the only time in pretty much the whole show that I had my whole focus was on the two of them. And that's so different than the ball where almost everyone's out there. And almost every other moment, there's a lot of characters on stage and you are by yourselves.
Yeah. Do you know what? I've never thought of that, but yeah, it was pretty cool, right? It was kind of the only sort of duet that no one, there was no one else on stage. Yeah.
Okay. What haven't I asked you about the London run that you were expecting to chat about on this show?
What happened in the London run?
Yeah, what questions have I not asked that you were I'm ready to talk about today? Before we get to the movie, because I have movie questions.
So did you know that when the show closed in London, do you know much about what happened? So when the show closed in London, I believe, because I was, that had ever performed in the show was invited back to take a curtain call. So
the very last performance?
Yeah, so I believe, when did it close? It was
oh
man, it's 2002. Yeah,
okay.
21 years, right? Yeah. Okay, so it closed in 2002. And so they live streamed a huge screen in Covent Garden, just underneath the Royal Opera House. And if you go back to 2002, which doesn't seem that long ago, but like to live stream what was happening in a theatre back then, it doesn't seem like a big deal now, but it was quite a big deal then.
Yeah.
So everyone got to watch that, a huge crowd was watching it. In fact, my then boyfriend, now husband, was in that crowd watching it because we were all invited to go back and take a curtain call. So basically, the curtain call of cats, every cat individually runs on and takes their bow or curtain call. So basically what would happen is, so for me, the Rumpleteazer that was on that night closing the show ran on obviously in costume, and behind her in black cats t-shirts with the eyes on the back and the memory will live forever or whatever, and just kind of black leggings or whatever, ran however many Rumpleteazers there were, like maybe 11, 10,
all
11.
Of you ran out. Wow.
So she ran on, and in a line behind her were all the rest of us, and we bowed, and that happened for every character. And then there was this crazy mad party at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel afterwards, which Andrew Lloyd Webber had gone all out for, because it was like being in a kind of they'd decorated it kind of rubbish dumpy, but like every food cart looked kind of like, I don't know, say maybe like a big old sort of box hamper thing, but inside would be all cakes and stuff, and then there'd be a big old kind of tin of something, looked like an old tin but huge, if you know it. Everything was huge, but then inside there'd be loads of canapes and stuff. It was an incredible party, and everybody that had ever been a part of the show was invited. So
it's like you had the largest Jellicle ball possible.
Yeah, literally,
after,
it was the
after the show.
It was the best theatre party I have, and I did a few opening nights in the West End, but that was, as theatre parties go, that one was incredible.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's it was a legendary show, in its time, and went for so long, and then so cool to have, as many people coming back as you could have. Like, that's what a room full of people, of incredible performers. Yeah.
Even in 2 years, I feel like I went through 4 Mungos. I'm not quite sure how that happened.
Yeah. Well, like you said, a lot of injuries and a lot of it's a challenging choreography and just show in general. I mean, you all are out there dancing almost the whole time.
Yeah, I didn't cover anyone. I just played Rumple.
Yeah, just Rumple, yeah.
I didn't cover.
We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back for more of The Wrong Cat Died. Okay, I want to talk about the 2019 movie because I saw that you did some additional vocals for that.
So the 1998, it
was the 1998 movie. I'm sorry. Okay.
The film that was filmed that was filmed on the stage at the Adelphi Theatre in London. So they filmed it on stage at the Adelphi, which is not where Cats was in London. So it was like they set it all up in a completely different theatre. At the time, I was in another Andrew Lloyd Webber musical and was actually like playing the lead. I was an alternate to the lead role of Swallow in Whistle Down the Wind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it played in London for like 3 years. So being part of the film wasn't an option for me, whether I would have been able to, but I didn't audition, or it wasn't an option. Yeah. However, when the film was made, I just got a call from my agent, and they said, Andrew has picked a few of you, it wasn't just me, a few of you to come back and re-record some of the vocals for the film for authenticity. So he wanted Mungo and Rumple to be Londoners, like actual real.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I believe, I'm pretty sure that the girl in the film, who was awesome, absolutely awesome, I believe that she's from Scotland, she was Scottish. So although had a brilliant London accent, he wanted, authentic. And the same for Skimbleshanks. A Skimble came in to record, and I believe a Jemima came in to record as well.
Okay.
So there was me and a Mungojerrie, and it was amazing. So we went into a little recording studio in London, and they had a huge screen with the film on. So I was watching a version of whoever was in the film, forgive me, I can't remember their names, but playing Mungo and Rumple. And the difficult thing about it is that when their mouths opened and closed, I had to work my vocals with her mouth open and closing, which was actually quite tricky, because some little kind of, I don't know, like little kind of giggles or like or intonations I'd put in the vocals, I had to really change to what she, was doing. but it was incredible. So I got there, Andrew was in there, and explained all about what we were going to do and everything. And he said to me, I love cats. And I said, yes, I had an amazing time on the show. You know, it's amazing. And he took a little keyboard that I can only describe as probably the smallest little, I mean, if you saw it, you'd just say like it was like even like a child's one, just a little black and white keyboard. And he went, yeah, my favorite thing is the overture. And he sat there and just went, da-na-na-na-na-na, on the keyboard. And I was absolutely mesmerized. I was like, I feel like I'm having a dream, some kind of out of body experience. Andrew is literally sat there playing it right in front of me. It was amazing. And then I don't really know what happened about when the film went into production and because there was like I say, a lady in for Jemima, a guy in for Skimbleshanks, and me and a Mungo. I don't really know. We are credited as our voices, but I feel like maybe the original actors went back in and redid some stuff as well. So
a little bit of all.
Yeah,
I did look it up. It was Jo Gibb, who you're right is.
She was wonderful. Yes,
and you're right, is Scottish.
Yeah.
And
so
she did the London production as well, the West End production too, as a swing, and then also as Rumpleteazer in '96 and '97. It looks like.
Wow. Okay. So quite soon after.
Yeah. So she probably was doing it right before. I know that for the 1998 movie, they pulled some people from Broadway, some people from London, because it wasn't just like a pro shot. Like they actually filmed a movie. So they did pull them out of the show for a little bit to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing. Okay, that's such a cool story. What also, again, an unforgettable experience. You had some very, very memorable, unforgettable experiences of these just like cool life things that are happening that weren't just on stage. You know, like there's obviously doing the job and having the, you know, going on stage and being part of an incredible show. But to be able to do Vogue and then hear Andrew in a recording studio playing on a keyboard, the overture, like all these other things that you get to do as part of it.
Working with Jilly and changing. Rumple. I mean, at the time, I just took it all in my stride. Like I say, I was 19 when I joined the show and 21 when I left. But as I look back now, 30 years later, I'm like, wow, I had an amazing experience. Yeah, it was amazing. And it's really nice that I'm teaching now in a performing arts college. And actually, I've only been there for a couple of years, but one of last year's graduates, he got an audition for Cats on the Royal Caribbean when I was teaching there. And he was like, Vikki, would you, kind of help me out with some, like some ideas on the choreo and, what kind of thing. I said to him, do you know what? I said, if I was going to cast you in Cats, the track I'd probably say you would definitely be right for would be Kabakati. I don't, do they call it?
Still.
Kabakati. First cover Mustafa. And sometimes that track is second cover Mungo, or the other way around, cover Mungo, cover Mustafa. And he was like, oh, wow. And anyway, he auditioned, went back. And then one day he ran in the room and went, Vikki, I got Kabakati, first cover Mustafa, second cover Mungo. I was like, oh my God. That's amazing.
That's awesome.
So to pass that on.
Yeah.
And to have had that dream fulfilled for me being in the show, and then to pass that on to somebody else was pretty like a full circle moment,
Yeah.
It's great.
Do you teach any of Cats in your courses and what you're doing?
They have had a look at it, and in fact within the college there's a few of us. We've got another, I believe we've got a Jemima or was a Jemima. We've got a Buster for. We've got a Gus. We've got a few of the faculty, the teachers who have all kind of done
You're
the show.
Do a faculty production at some point.
Oh, how funny would that be? On our group chat at the moment, because Les Mis is doing its 40 years.
Yeah.
Pictures of half the faculty, like in the shows and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. Okay, I've got to ask one before we get to the rapid fire. I've got to ask a theory question.
Okay.
Because I'm fascinated by the relationships characters play, and I you obviously did this. It was a while ago, so I don't know how level of depth you got into the relationship between Mungojerrie and Rumpleteazer. So how did you play it? Were they? I've heard brother sister. I've heard dating. I've heard best friends. Like there's a lot of variations. Did you all have a deep discussion on how you were going to play that relationship?
That's a really interesting question for me, because I did have 4 Mungojerries in my time. Three of them were friendships. One was like a real bestie friendship. So the guy Ian, who I changed Mungo Rumple in London with, we were like 2 peas in a pod and pretty inseparable. In fact, that was like a real brother sister. But one of the Mungojerries was after the show a 5-year relationship for me. So yeah.
Okay, so you played it as did you think about that? Like, because there is discussions every once in a while about what is this duo? And did you have conversations about that, or was it just kind of depending on the person that you were performing with?
I think it depended on the person that I was performing with and what our relationship sort of was off stage, and then that became part of the Mungo Rumple kind of relationship on stage. What I found really interesting about Rumpleteazer is that, her 3 words are like naughty, effervescent, and impressionable. Well, they're 3 words that my personality, I wouldn't describe myself as any of them. I was not naughty. I was the good girl at school. I am the good girl. I'm not naughty. Effervescent, maybe that's the one that's closest, because I am quite a kind of upbeat, bubbly, kind of, fizzy kind of personality. So maybe that one, but definitely not impressionable. But that's why I loved playing Rumpleteazer, because I loved being naughty, because I'm not. Yeah. And I loved kind of, that real sort of like impressionable, being sort of, following Mungojerrie around and thinking he was the best thing since sliced bread, and just, just that kind of, and the whole effervescent kind of just being so up, sparky and upbeat on stage, and, physical within the show. So playing her was really, really good fun for me, really good fun. And the relationships that I had on stage, for me, really did depend on the relationships I was having off stage as well. As in, one of my best friends was etc. And so Rumple and etc. also on stage had lots of kitten fun, in all the moments when we were allowed to be that way, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's cool to hear that, because that's the way I've always felt. It seems like that's what the answer has been in a lot of cases. But it's also like the fans who've seen variations of the show across many countries and many things. Some of them have their opinions on like, no, they're supposed to be this. And I'm like, well, I think it just depends on the 2 people that day. Like they're not all spoken and they're not all written. So you can have that variation of where it can be like, okay, we are 2 dating cats or 2 together cats, or it could just be like we are more family. It doesn't really change the number, but it kind of makes a slightly different tweak on maybe the way you look at them or the way you move towards them.
No, it 100% does. And do you know what? Knowing the show so well and having done it for so long, I feel like I could go now and watch a production and I could work out from what was going on stage who was friends or backstage or, what. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because there is a lot of scope within the show, although there's, all the choreography, there is a lot of scope for your own interpretations of that character. So there was moments where you could, I would find etc. and we would have a little, cute moment together because we were besties off stage as well.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, let's do some rapid fire because I want to get to the important question. If you could go on one night, any cat, who would you want to play?
Okay, so I have had dreams since leaving the show that I get called back in and do it, and especially 30 years on, I'm like, I don't think I'd make it through the Jellicle, but I wouldn't make it. But in my dreams, if I could make it, I'd definitely be Victoria.
Victoria.
Yeah.
Okay, I love it. Who are your favorite and least favorite cats from a personality standpoint? So which one would you like to hang out with and which one would bug you?
Oh, wow. Okay. That's interesting. I always loved Skimbleshanks, the railway cat. I love trains. Both my granddads were train drivers. So I've always
cool.
Of a train geek. I love trains. And so I loved Skimbleshanks, and I loved the whole thing. I thought it was so clever of, building the train from the parts of the set and everything. So I feel like, Skimbleshanks was one of my favorite characters. And what was it? My least favorite?
Least favorite, yeah. Which one would bug you personality-wise?
I feel like Cassandra would bug me a little bit because she's so sort of, kind of a bit closed off and loose, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I wasn't a fan of Macavity because, as well, even as a person, I don't like anything scary. Like, I don't watch horrors. I don't like scary things. And Macavity was like that kind of scary character. So for me,
did you play Mungo and Rump or at all involved with Macavity, or were you just Like, because there could be there is a version where that's the storyline.
That's interesting because I didn't play Rumple like that. I played Rumple very young. Obviously, I was very young, and just if Mungo says do it, I'll do it. Very impossible, but very scared of McCavity because I was such a young kitten. Yeah. And actually probably very scared of what I was actually doing if I really thought about it. But I played her a bit kind of like, a bit sort of dumb, like, oh, okay, I'll come in here and burgle this place. If you say
sure.
Yeah.
What's your favorite song from the show?
Well, hey, the overture is that a song?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm going with the overture. It gives me goosebumps every time.
And then I always ask one that's kind of different. So you're, as a teacher, and working, like, which cat do you think would be the best teacher?
Oh, that's a really interesting question. Okay. I feel like either Skimbleshanks.
Yeah.
Or maybe I would go for like Jenny Annie Dots, maybe.
Yeah.
I feel
it's in the lyrics. Like,
or for the musical theatre teacher, maybe Gus, because he has so much experience, right, of the theatre.
Yeah.
I mean, the theatre's my happy place, and I feel like, being able to teach now, and if any of my students, well, one has, but if any more, get to perform in Cats, then it's a dream show. It really is. Yeah.
This whole centers around the debate that I don't think Grizabella is the right Jellicle choice. So I want to hear you, Vikki. Who's your Jellicle choice and why?
Okay, here it is. My Jellicle choice is not Grizabella.
Amazing.
Because for me, like, I mean, I don't know if she dies, right? I never really thought that much into it. I'm like, okay, she goes on a tire and goes up into the dried ice and stuff, but where did she go, right? Cats have 9 lives. I'm not sure about that. But for me, we all accept her. Old Duke says, oh, it's okay. And she comes along, and I feel like Rumple always did want to accept her because she'll just, if Mungo says, then she will. And I just feel like, give her a chance, and then we send her up on a tire. Like, I don't think she should go. I feel like I wanted to spend some time with her. And in fact, her song, Memories, is my favorite song in the show. So not Grizabella for me. I think I would send McCavity because, like I've said, I don't like scary things, and I found him scary. And I feel like he gave Demeter way too much anxiety, and we just don't need those bad negative vibes on stage. So I say send McCavity up to the dry ice.
I like it. So your argument is not who needs it, not who's worthy. It's like, let's just get this guy out of here.
He is. Get him out. Yeah, he's too scary.
I have no arguments on that logic. I like that a lot. I think McCavity's clearly vying for it. Like, that is, I think, part of McCavity's story is wanting to be the choice.
I think so. Yeah, he's putting himself out for it, right?
Yeah. So I think you're going to reward him.
Chance and pop him up there, I think.
I think I love hearing you say that, like, you as Rumpleteazer really wanted to spend some time with Grizabella, because that's the part I struggle with her leaving. Is that it's like you just welcomed her back, and then it's like no, like you're just going to send her away.
By her, who is this wonderful woman who's comes down and like was there and doing it all and singing it. And who is she? And I was intrigued by her and kind of fascinated, and I think I would want to have spent time with her and given her a chance, definitely.
Awesome. A non-Grizabella vote is a positive vote in my book. So I'm ready to add.
Grizz was amazing. So
that's the thing. It's all the Grizabella's. I have no issue with Grizabella's story, and the performance and memory is always an incredibly powerful moment.
It's my favorite song.
I don't want her to leave. I think she should stay.
No. Maybe Cats 2 could be all about Grizabella. Hey, did you hear there's some kind of Broadway revival-y?
Oh, yeah.
Did you see the YouTube trailer?
I did. It came out. So when recording this will be out a little bit later. But when we recorded it came out yesterday, I believe. And I did see it. I did a lot of stuff with them last year when they were at the Perlman Performing Arts Center. And I'm very excited for their transfer. It is a lot of the cast from last summer is also transferring, so I'm so excited for them. It is, if you can get over here to see it, it is incredible. And I cannot wait to see what they do.
Let's hope Grizz gets reborn and has her moment.
Their story is a little different with the way they portray it. And so their Grizabella, that story actually, I kind of joked with the directors when I first saw it, and when I talked to them after, I was like, it actually makes it a little bit harder to argue against Grizabella because it's not a death. It's not like, it actually feels like it's going back out into the world from the ballroom scene. So it's like, it feels more natural. And it's like, there's not another choice. Like, the Gus character also is very much helping send her versus like wanting to go himself. Right. So it's incredible if everyone, they just got their theater announced. They just got their preview date. They have most of the cast announced. There's going to be more coming. It is spectacular. It's so well done.
Wow, the memory will live forever.
Yep. And then in a new version, they're also not in Cats costumes. Like, it is a different version, but also at the same time, the same. And so that's what's really cool about it.
Yeah, super cool.
Awesome. Well, how can people stay in touch with you on stuff in your life and things you're working on and other things from your school?
I didn't have Instagram, although I'm not the generation that was born with Instagram, but I've got with it. And so I think I'm just at Vikki Coote.
Okay, we'll tag it too, so we'll put it in the notes.
Perfect, thank you. And thank you for letting me live the memories of 30 years ago. It was really good fun.
So fun to have you on and hear the story and to hear the change story. I mean, that is I didn't know the original production that well until I heard the album. And so to hear how you all went through that change is a really cool piece of the Cats history.
So later now you have to go home, play the original London version, then play the Broadway version, and then realize what my life was for 3 weeks. It was crazy.
Yeah, I have the 2 albums. I was this morning I listened to a couple non-theater albums, and then I listen to music when I work a lot of times at home. Yeah. And I listened to a few non-theater albums, and then I listened to Evita, and then I listened to the Japanese album for Cats that I have. So, which is also kind of a fun, has like a different sound to it in a way. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was my morning, gearing up for this.
Sounds like a good morning to me.
Yeah. Can't complain. Yeah. Well, this was so fun. Again, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thanks, Mike.
And thanks everyone for listening to this episode of The Wrong Cat Died, the podcast breaking down the catastrophe. To follow along, you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any other podcasts. Follow us on social media at The Wrong Cat Died, or check our website, thewrongcatdied.com.